You said about the system, and we will talk about the strategy. That the word strategy may be very obvious in some society like here, or maybe not very clear in my society. What is the system? What's the strategy? And why do we need to change our strategy we have today?
But I mean, it's an interesting question, actually. No, we have so many threats, like global threats, and crisis. Like there's so many different types of crises as well. I mean, we have the climate, inequality, war, geopolitics, logistics, pandemics. I mean, they're just like a stack of threats. And then, for example, a free country like Sweden, many people are, how this is not going to affect us. Like we can chill a bit, where it's not happening right now. No, but it affects everyone. So I mean, it's gonna, even if poor countries are struggling already, it will come and it will affect you somehow. There might be products that won't reach us very soon, or climate disasters. I mean, so we're all in the same boat. And then, as I see it, then we need strategies. As like, how do we face these? I mean, it might not be so easy always to come up with the solutions. And I don't think solutions and strategies are the same thing, but we need some strategies, collective strategies, to face it and to at least feel like we're doing something. I mean, I'm very dystopian and quite negative when it comes to what I see happening globally, but at least I'm personally I'm going to do as much as I can, and in that work is the strategic work is the core.
Yeah, nice. But you believe we need kind of transformation?
Yeah.
Toward what?
Yeah. I think, I mean, every time when I talk to others or when I read things, like I always come down to like one core problem. Even yesterday I was writing about it. I think it's inequalities. Because I think as long as we're not facing the problem that humans are not born in equal settings, like we don't decide where we're born. You're born into something, and then that almost like perpetuates at the moment. Like if you're born in a rich country, you become even more rich, and if you're born in a poor setting, even more poor. And as long as we're not facing that, and it's existential, it's spiritual, you could see it from a religious perspective, but as long as we're not facing it, the second phase, which is where you have then all the climate disasters, geopolitics, all of those crises that I just mentioned, then we're not gonna reach anything. So I think for me, the transformation side, I mean, what I would love to see is an equal planet, like an equal world. I doubt that it's going to happen during my lifetime.
Yeah, that's nice. But I had a meeting with several young architects. It was about the sustainability and sustainable architecture.
Yeah.
As I understand, at that meeting, they were looking for several items, and they think like this: if we follow this item like modernist architect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we will have sustainable architecture, which is not true, I think. And therefore I thought maybe they need to know what's the core problem and what's the big problem we face today, and why do we need a sustainable future and sustainable cities and sustainable architecture. And what do you think about that? What's the main core? Why the architects need to change their vision about the architecture?
Yeah.
What do we need
Yeah.
for having a sustainable future or sustainable architecture?
Yeah. So I think what you mentioned is when you only look at, for example, materials. Yeah, and separately, and you do like a green building or whatever. But no, I think it's way more complex than that. And if you look at science or Stockholm Resilience Center, people that actually do calculate when it comes to planetary boundaries, carbon emissions, that what we have, the reduction of how much we're using collectively on the planet, it's so vast. Like we need to shift our ways of being at like scales that we don't even understand. I mean, it's so much. So when it comes to only architecture and buildings, we can hardly build. Like if you want to stay within the planetary boundaries, we can't put up one more building. Like it's stopped. We can only use what we have. So every time you're adding something, it's most likely outside of these planetary boundaries. So you need to start there. Like that's the foundation of our jobs and our futures. And then, of course, if you look at globally, I mean, yes, there are places in this world where you can survive due to climate with way less materials. For example, I mean, you can make bamboo constructions, or you can create beautiful tent constructions or textiles and reuse textiles, for example. But then if you're in colder climates, such as Northern Europe, Russia, I mean, I wouldn't be able to survive in a tent because it's way too cold and damp and wet. So we also have different contexts, which is going to play a big role here, that I think architects are not really discussing across the planet. What can you use? How much can I use? Okay, I'm going to be generous. I'll give it all to you and I'll just use a few sticks. So that's one dialogue as well. And then recycling, for example, and reuse of materials, massive problem. I think that's what we have to do. Like almost everything we build needs to be built with reused materials. But we're lacking logistics, we're lacking, we've talked about this as well. Yeah. Warehouses, where do you find, I mean, if you need to build a big apartment block, where do you find that material? Yeah. The recycled material. Yeah. Doesn't exist. So yeah, I think and then also then weaving in calculations of populations. How do we know that cities will grow? Do we need more buildings? Will populations decrease because people choose not to have kids for a while now? Yeah. I mean, there's also a more data perspective.
Yeah. I have two more questions. One about the historical responsibility, as you know, because maybe most of the people, they're watching this video, they're living in Iran, which is underdevelopment country, and maybe they ask themselves, okay, the people who live in global north, they had industrial revolution, they had good life, and we want something like that now, to live in a beautiful house or a beautiful apartment. And ask a role of historical responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, this is also an ongoing dialogue, because you could also argue that all of this comfort that we have over here is mad and it's sick, and it's not. That's where everything has gone wrong. And then to say that that's, the way to go and what everyone should be aiming for, maybe that's completely wrong. And maybe the focus is not necessarily to have the most efficient, comfortable home, but to have beautiful friends and, spaces to go and hang out with people you love, or not work 12 hours a day. I mean, maybe the focus is something different. And then, yes, maybe you need to put on slippers when you're inside because your home is going to be a little bit colder, but there's something else that's more valuable in society. But again, I'm Swedish, but I'm wondering if For example, in Iran, if you look at Sweden and go, oh, that's like what we dream of, that's where we have to go. Maybe that also needs to be broken down and rediscussed. Is that actually what you want? Because it's not very nice all the time to be isolated, lonely, live in a very dark country where you don't hang out with your friends because that's the societal structures. And we've also discussed
that. Like that. Maybe you don't know the value of things you have.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You should enjoy more. Yeah, and the last one, the word grows. I think you like this one or hate this one. And then I'm thinking about my city, and I'm living in Gorgan, northern of Iran, which is located between Caspian Sea and Hyrcanian forest, and we don't have much more space to grow. And the municipality usually talk about okay, we have to expand the city and we have to grow. And I'm usually thinking how much we're gonna destroy our environment and how much, and what's the growth meaning, and do we need, is it related to development, or can we develop our city in other way? You think about this or growth?
No, but that's, back again to responsibilities. I think it's up to every single one of us right now to read up on economy and how the economy functions right now, because it's super important. We're part of it, and you need to know your system to be able to then, break free from it or rearrange it. But the economic system that we have is dependent on growth. Unless this system grows constantly, it doesn't work. And it's involving banks, debts. It's involved, all of these things needs growth. However, the planet is not growing. It's not. Yeah. So those two worlds are not functioning. And right now we're pretending as if it is going to, but at some point it's not going to. And there will be a massive crash somehow. And some people argue it's already happening.
Yeah.
And so we cannot just grow indefinitely. Same thing with humans. Like how many billions of humans can this planet handle? There will be a limit. So I think also sometimes municipalities are a little bit naive when they don't tackle that problem, and when they don't talk about it, and just pretend that no, the city is just going to grow and that's how it is. And if it doesn't, we won't have the tax money needed to pay for the schools. The dialogue just goes on. But there are a lot of other solutions and people talking about different ways. Degrowth is discussed a lot. It's interesting to read. Others are a little bit more balanced, go like, well, how about just beyond growth and not degrowth, but a different type of growth. But I think also that we have solutions that we've tried before. And I was discussing with another friend just a few weeks ago that in Sweden, for example, when I grew up, or a little bit before that, like 60s and 70s, beginning of the 80s, Sweden had a really interesting system. Again, back to the inequalities, we had quite a what do you call it? Like a compressed society. We did not have enormously rich people. We also did not have poor people.
Yeah. Middle class.
Yeah. Everything was government owned. Healthcare, schools, like everything. You just went to the school that was closest, and that was always a good school. And then everyone paid a lot of tax, but we were proud of it.
Yeah.
It was a peaceful country, no wars. It was always a social democrat government for like constantly forever during those years.
Yeah.
And by that, I want to say that we've tried different solutions before. Now Sweden is not like that anymore. It's much more like America, or a lot of things have been privatized, but we've tested solutions. So I think there's also a lot of interesting things to maybe look back at and go, what can we pick from there that's nice to use again.
Yeah, it's really nice. I had this conversation with my friend here. We talked about the growth, and then we talked about the thrive. Then you translated both the word in Persian, if you could find the same meaning, but we find another meaning for the thrive. And I think we need more thrive instead of growth.
Yeah. But also, what is it that is growth? Growing. I mean, maybe not monetary growth, but we can have growth of bike lanes, or growth of parks and trees in city, or growth of public spaces, social spaces, or different ways. I mean, so there's like, what is it that we want to grow and what should not grow?
Yeah, exactly, like a tree.
Yeah,
exactly. If we found this work, and I'm gonna explain in Persian meaning, but it was really nice to find that word. And then I know you worked on a project in Tumalila, which was about this economic system, circular economy, and then you focus on donut economy and the thrive. And I would like to talk a little bit about the project you had in Tumalila Future School, and your work as a strategy designer.
Yeah.
And do you like talk?
Yeah, no, but it was I was given a beautiful opportunity actually to see and create the strategy to the word of the first elementary school in the world built based on donut economics. And donut economics is it's this view of how we can stay within the planetary boundaries while also make sure that people are not poor or below a social limit of what you need to survive as a human being. It was super interesting because, again, you can easily get stuck in like the materials, the wooden building, recycled stuff, energy. But then I think what we did here was also looking very deep into like social structures and how is a school in Sweden affecting people around the globe. I mean, that can be through shipping of materials. Even if we think like, let's just add solar panels, that's fantastic. Those solar panels are made somewhere. They require a lot of really harmful things, and it's suddenly you end up talking about like a mining place in Africa where maybe there's kids working and then shipping 1,000 times around the globe. So, I mean, even when we think that we're doing something good, you just look at the system. It's so complex. So it was a really interesting job, and also how we look at a building. But if we look at the planet as like a thing, and if we then take, we're made of materials from the planet.
Yes.
But if we also take a little bit of clay from the planet, what's the difference of me and that piece of clay? Because I have a mind or something, but we're also just materials from the planet. And then if you take clay and you make that into a building, is that building actually maybe also a person like me? Or like, can how do I relate to that material? And we were playing with the idea, then if a building is more of a personhood, how do then kids relate to their school? And if we create a story, then what does that do for the whole society, and how they think of education and how they take care of the building? So there was a lot of interesting dialogues around this, like that went way beyond just recycled materials and energy.
Yeah, which is really important when we think about sustainable architecture, for example. It's more deeper than the surface we usually talk about.